Oh, so serious.
Please be seated for a moment. Good afternoon to you all. Good afternoon. It's a celebration we're at now, not a mourning. So it's lovely to see you, happy, smiling people. I'd like to welcome especially, of course, Joe and Sarah and Bradford and the Brennan family. It's a big day for them. And we have people here from many parts. People from Australia. Hands up, those from Australia. From London. And I believe a few people have got visas to cross the Liffey from the north side. So wherever you're from, you're most welcome. And isn't Sarah looking absolutely beautiful? And isn't Joe looking very brave? I'd like you to be part of this ceremony, not just me up here doing something for the couple, but all of us together are here to celebrate their love for each other. Where there's love, there's God. Simple as that. So we find God here because of the love that Joe and Sarah have for each other. Now, there are three things about that rose that are mirrored in Joe and Sarah's love. First thing about that rose, it's a beautiful gift. It's a gift of nature, gift of God. It's not made of plastic. It's not technology, product. It's the real thing. The real thing. Not paper, not plastic. Some of you perhaps were down in Powerscourt. There's a rose garden down there. All sorts of roses. What a feast of beauty. And your love is also a beautiful gift. You didn't earn it. In a way, you didn't deserve it. But you've given your love to each other without reserve. Freely given. And what's that gift? The gift of yourself. Could anything be more precious than that? That I give my whole self, body, mind, spirit, emotions, totally to you. Nothing held back. I'm offering myself to you not to dominate you, not to change me, but to accept me as I am. What a beautiful gift. And the source of that gift, where did it come from? Didn't buy it, didn't earn it. The source of love is God. The scripture says, where there is love, there is God. Could anything be more straightforward than that? Wherever there is love, genuine love, there's God. And again it says, St. John says in the scriptures in the Bible, God has poured his love into your hearts. And again, as long as you love one another, God will live in you, and his love will be complete in you. And in the Mass later on we'll say, your love is a mirror of God's love. And so, as you give the gift of yourself to each other today, you're saying, you'll help me to be the person I'm meant to be. With all my talents, with all my weaknesses, with all the personality I have, that Joe is going to help you, Sarah, and you're going to help him to mold each other into being beautiful, loving people. Like the rose, a beautiful gift. And you don't say to each other, I love you as long as you're beautiful, as long as you're healthy, as long as you do things my way. No. I love you without any conditions. Just as you are. The complete package. Now, the second thing about that rose is that it became beautiful because somebody cared for it. Somebody nurtured it, got down on their knees to protect it from the slugs, make sure that the weeds did not wither it or kill it. In other words, it demanded someone to give it the right amount of soil, moisture, sunlight, because roses can wilt and die. But this rose is beautiful because somebody cared for it. And in the same way, your love is only the beginning of a climb. It's a tender plant. Tender plant. Okay, you know one another while, you have a lovely son, Harry, but love has to grow. And that means giving quality time to each other. You know best how to do that yourselves. But you know, people are so busy today, rushing here and rushing there, that you can almost be like two trains passing each other. Because you have your work, you have your careers, you have a child. But time for each other. I met a couple recently who were married something like 40 years, and they said, you know what we do once a month? We get down together, children are in bed, we have time to ourselves, we turn off the television, and we just sit by each other, perhaps with a glass of wine, and we say, how did the month go? I thought I noticed you a bit sad Did I say something or not say something I should have done? Was there some tension there that we didn't talk about? Out. The whole self. No holds barred. Something to think about. And yes, as I said, hard work. You're not at the top of a mountain, you're beginning a climb, you're beginning a voyage. Beautiful voyage, but it demands giving the best of time to each other, no matter what other priorities you may have in work or in children or whatever. And the last thing about that rose, not only is it beautiful, the gift, not only is it beautiful because somebody cared for it, but as you rub your hand down the stem, oh, thorns. You think something so beautiful wouldn't draw blood if you handled it the wrong way, but it's a fact. But it doesn't detract from its beauty. But it does say to you, if it could speak, handle me with care or I'll make you suffer. And so in life can be cruel. There are hard knocks. Not all your plans will be realized. Perhaps a lot of them will be. But, life isn't a roller coaster. And so when difficulties come, and there are hardships, setbacks, how are you going to deal with them? Your love, please God, will conquer everything. Dear Sarah and Joe, you've come to this church today so the Lord may seal your love in the presence of your families and your friends. Christ blesses this love. He's already consecrated you in baptism. Now, by this special sacrament, He's strengthened you to fulfill the duties of your married life. So, Sarah and Joe, you're about to celebrate this sacrament. Have you come here of your own free will and choice, without compulsion, to marry each other? Will you love and honour each other in marriage all the days of your life? God has already blessed you with your beautiful son, Harry. Are you willing to accept any other children God may send you and bring them up in His love? I invite you then to declare before God and all here present your consent to become husband and wife.
I, Joe, take you, Sarah, as my wife, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and health, all the days of your life.
I, Sarah, take you, Joe, as my husband, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, for sickness and health, all the days of our life.
What God joins together, let no one separate. May the Lord confirm the consent you have given and enrich you with His blessings. We now bless the rings that will be a daily reminder of your love. Lord, bless Sarah and Joe and consecrate their married life. May these rings be a symbol of their faith in each other and a reminder of their love through Christ our Lord. We bless the holy water.
Sarah, wear this ring as a sign of our love and fidelity. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Joe, wear this ring as a sign of our love and fidelity in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
We'll ask them to seal their love with a kiss and we'll give them a big boule of boss.
we have the father of the bride, Professor Aidan Bradford.
The professor, thanks very much. So, first thing I want to do on behalf of Pauline and myself is to welcome you all here to Joe and Sarah's wedding. I think that many of you are at an age where you're going to lots of weddings, so you're probably weddinged out, partied out at this stage, especially coming towards the end of the year. So, just to let you know that your presence here is much appreciated. So I'm a bit of a sports fan. So when I heard originally that Sarah was going out with international hockey player, first all I could think was that he absolutely has to marry. She has to marry this guy, even though I hadn't met Joe at that stage. Joe, as many of you will know, played about 70 times for Ireland in hockey. Remarkable achievement. And he's also had a glittering career at club level and more recently in coaching. Now, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, but hockey's a girls' sport, right? But Joe was also a top hurler, and he is an exceptional golfer. You'll notice that soccer and tennis isn't on that list, Joe. That's an in-joke, by the way. What I'd like to say is that Joe is a very exceptional person. He's not just good at sports. He seems to be good at everything that he puts a mind to doing. He's musical. He's a technophile. That means, by the way, that he likes gadgets. He's brilliant at cooking. He's brilliant at do-it-yourself.
Thanks, Aid. Thanks.
You're welcome. Pauline and myself, we have 3 children, 3 girls. Pauline failed to give me a son. And but I'd like to think that if we'd had a son, I know. I'd like to think that if we'd had a son, he might have turned out something like Joe, and I'm sure that Brian and Mary must be very proud to have a son like him. So now to turn the crosshairs on Sarah. Sarah actually, when she in her youth was very good at sports as well. She used to win all the swimming medals at school. She was a good runner. She was good at basketball. She was a very good Gaelic footballer. She used to play for Cabinteely. So I always remember the head coach there, Philip McAnenley, and Sarah was Philip's favourite. And I think it was mostly because she was a really dirty player. But Sarah, as many of you will know, is one of her great interests is in children, and watching her taking care of Harry, it's like a masterclass in how to be a good mother. But as well as being blessed with Harry, Sarah is also blessed with a very special group of friends. Sweet 16, I think, is the code word there. Sarah has been a wonderful daughter to us. She's never caused us any problems. She's never caused us any anxiety. Any problems that Sarah's had in her life, she's dealt with a steely determination. She's the kind of person that you'd trust in any situation. A story going back to when Sarah was, she was just a kid. She was about 10 years of age, and Pauline witnessed this, where she was standing outside the bedroom, and the 3 kids are in on the bed, the way kids do, playing, using it as a trampoline. Donna loses her balance and goes flying through the air and whacks her head off the headboard and got herself a really bad cut in her mouth. She actually subsequently had to get general anaesthetic and surgery for it. So as you can imagine, there was blood everywhere, and Roisin jumped off the bed, ran out of the room, ran into her own bedroom and closed the door behind her. Sorry, Roisin. And in the meantime, Sarah has, now there's blood everywhere, she's only 10 years of age, has grabbed Donna, lifted her up, carried her into the bathroom where Pauline was able to clean her up and whisk her off to hospital. So, and there's lots more stories like that. She's good in emergencies. So just to finish and say that Sarah is a conscientious person, she is a reliable person. And the last thing I'd say about her is that she's a very, very good judge of character. And I think that, first of all, says a great deal about her friends, and it also says a great deal about Joe as her choice of husband. I'll just finish with a joke. So the 4 boys, they're on the 13th tee, and it's beside the road. And so Jimmy steps up, and he's lining up the shot. And next minute, a funeral cortege comes down the road. And Jimmy throws the golf club down on the ground. He takes his silly golf hat off and he brings it over his chest and he bows down like this until the cortege passes. And so the other 3 boys are looking at this and they say, "My God, Jimmy, that was really impressive. That was so respectful." And he said, "Well, look, it's the least I could have done. I was married to her for 40 years.
Professor Aidan Bradford, everybody. So next up, we have Father the Groom.
Paramedic, doctor.
Mr. Brian Brennan.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm the father of the groom. I just realised now, Joe says to me, "Dad, do you want me to write your speech for you?" I wrote Aidan's speech for him. You know, he gave me all the praises and all that, you know. And he said, I said, "No, thanks." First of all, I have to say, Sarah, apart from the mother of the bride and the mother of the groom, you're the most beautiful woman in here today. I had to say that now. I'm only joking. But I have to say this, you know. Really, we'd love to, and we're delighted to welcome Sarah into our family and the Bradfords into our extended family. She's a beautiful girl, as you all know. I can't say much about Joe. It's already been said. Joe was born 30 odd years ago, and he was taken away from his mother immediately because he was distressed. And he was gone for 11 hours and they couldn't cure him. So he's still distressed. Any of you lads who know, there's no point me saying anything because most of you know Joe intimately. You know what he's like. We know what he's like. I'm not going to make any further speech. You know, I'm not going to do any more. But his best friend in the whole world, sent me a speech, and I want to read her out. Joe and Sarah, that's you. As you know, we're so sad that we can't be here today. Who I'm talking about is Joe's sister Sarah, or Joe's sister Jane, I beg your pardon. Jane is expecting a baby since last week. And she couldn't travel home. She lives over there in Belgium, and she couldn't come home, etc. And she really misses Joe and Sarah's wedding, and she's really, really, really disappointed. But she sent a little note, so I'll read it out to you. Joe, I know you realise how fortunate you are to have found such a kind, patient, funny, beautiful person as Sarah. You and Harry are two lucky guys. Right. Sarah, in French, they often wish people bon courage. Dad, try your best there with the French accent. Oh, I must have said. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, which is a bit like saying good luck, but it's a bit more than that. It means good luck, and I wish you the strength and patience you will need for what you are about to embark on. And it usually means that the person who says it to you understands very well what you're about to go through, possibly more than others. With regard to my little brother, there's nothing I can tell you that you don't already know. He's one of the most persistent, loyal, frustrating, kind, annoying, sensitive, irritating, protective, impatient, and loving person I have ever known. And I'm sure your life together will never be dull, and you'll always be full of love and laughter. Thinking of you both on this special day, have a beautiful time. Jane, Colin, sorry, Charlie. Sorry for getting upset. That's from Jane, Colin, Charlie, and one other. We're not sure who or what yet. But that's my speech done, and I just want to wish the two of you the greatest happiness ever that anybody could have.
Mr. Brian Brennan, everybody! So, just before we dive into our starters, I just have 2 telegrams to read out for people that couldn't be here today. So, to Joe and Sarah, the new Mr. and Mrs. Brennan, wishing you both a wonderful wedding day and all the love and happiness throughout the years to come. We have no doubt Harry is looking sharp, taking it all from his mother, of course. Sarah, you're a brave woman. Nurturing Joe's sensitive side all on your own will be a challenge. Joe, please stay away from the microphone tonight and allow the wedding band to do their thing. Enjoy every special moment and make memories. Much love, the Green Army Girls. That's the Irish women's hockey team, for those who know. And just one other one, quite a quick one, to Mr. and Mrs. Brennan. Best of luck for the future from all in Glenanne Sports Club. None from Corinthians, I might add. None from Corinthians. So that's it. We're now going to start with the start. So, I hope everyone's enjoyed their dinner. Without further ado, we're going to hand over to the main man today. Sorry, one announcement. If anybody's lost a bracelet in the church car park, just come talk to me after at some point. Yes, okay. So, without further ado, we're going to hand over to the main man himself, Mr. Joe Brennan.
Ollie! Up there, Dubs. Settle in. On behalf of my wife and I...
It's easy, it's a crowd.
Up there, Dub. We welcome you all here today. We're so happy to share this day with everybody here. We've so many great memories from all the people around here, and we're so lucky to have you all come to our day. And so many people here. We've gone and shared your wedding day with you, and it's such an important occasion. And we thank you all for coming at this time of the year. We know it's hard, but we welcome you all here. Now, Sarah. Flyer. You always give out to me that I don't compliment you enough. So I saved them all up today. But you look wonderful. You look breathtaking. And I'm so lucky that you're now my wife. It's an easy sell. When you walk up the aisle, obviously you look back and you see a beautiful bride coming up. But when it's also the mum of your child, it's even more special. And it makes it even more perfect. Myself and Sarah met through Gary, which I'll come back to. And she was having a bit of a rough time when we met with some person. But anyway, I smelled blood. She was kind of like, well, the girls dropped her off. First of all, they were all involved. But it was like she was an injured antelope in the herd. I smelled blood. I knew I could go all in. I knew she was vulnerable. Look, you have to know. But we felt like we went for drinking the Bailey. Yeah, that's why the dog is called Bailey. And we fell in love immediately. Well, from my side. Because about a year later, Sarah told me, oh, to be honest, I could have taken her leaving you for the first 6 months. Which is absolutely brilliant. But Sarah's a wonderful person. So when I met with Aidan to ask him, could I'm going to be honest here, Aidan. So when I met with Aidan and I asked him, I was like, look, I want to look for your blessing to ask Sarah to marry you. He straight away just said, look, he said, you're taking on a lot here. There was no emotion, it was just, she's a tough cookie. I don't envy you. Best of luck. And to be honest, Aidan's, he's not the most emotional bloke in the world. When we announced we went in, we were a bit nervous about going, we were like, how are we going to tell him Sarah's pregnant and da-da-da. I went in and Pauline was there cooking away. And Aidan was over in the corner of the couch there with his rug, sleeping bag. Anyway, we were like, look, I was like, Sarah's a bit nervous and da-da-da. And she's, look, we're having a baby. And Pauline obviously was just so happy and it was brilliant. And Aidan, from the far side of the room, turned his head and just gave it the good luck with that, folks. That was it. To the bridesmaids, you look amazing. You're brilliant. You obviously gave Sarah a wonderful hen party. And you were so good to her in the build-up with this. It's obviously been hard with Harry with different things, and Sarah not stressing, but it was brilliant. But Sarah's so lucky, as well as her two sisters, her two wonderful sisters. She's got a very unique bunch of friends, a wonderful bunch of friends. They're so resilient. For 16 girls to say, or 15, two got axed. For 14, 15 girls to stay 15, to stay such good friends, it's resilience. It's brilliant. But they're a smashing group of girls, and it's a real testament to what your friends are like. That whenever Sarah's in their company, she laughs harder than any time I ever see her laugh, and that's actually the truth. Even 2 nights ago, we were having a pint, and Sarah, she laughs from her belly. It's gone whenever she's with all the girls. it's a testament to that all the boyfriends are such good friends. We know each other obviously so well, and it's just such a wonderful group of friends. And I know we look forward to all the adventures that are coming, because it's weddings happening and little pitter patters. Could happen any moment, Niamh. But they're all changing times, and it's wonderful to see, obviously, when over the next few years how it all goes. To my groomsmen and stuff. Yeah. So obviously there's 5 groomsmen because Sarah needed 5 bridesmaids. But anyway, it made life easy. Obviously Gary's best man, but to be fair, like any of the groomsmen could have been my best man. But I could have asked Keith to be best man, but he probably wouldn't have shown up to the stag, and if he did, he would have moaned about everything. I could have asked Rubber, but he probably would have ended up in outer Mongolia for the stag. Eddie would have probably slept through the stag. And John probably wouldn't have had a passport. He barely made it home. John booked his flight 2 days ago from Australia. He came all the way from Melbourne. And as he had appointed me on Thursday night, he goes, yeah, I was lucky there. I had to fly to Canberra yesterday just to get a passport. I really wasn't making it. Brilliant. And obviously there's a very close friend of mine, as Gary read out, Graham, who's been a very big part of my life, who isn't here. And obviously David is here and his mum or dad are here. But he's another very, very close friend who would have been in the same bracket. But Gary, obviously, was the last option at this stage. But Gary played a major role in myself and Sarah's relationship. He set us up. I let him go into the details of it. Again, I knew I pounced. It was a WhatsApp group and I made it happen. But anyway, and Gary played a big role in this. And obviously we're very close friends. Sarah and Amy are very, very close friends. And our 2 sons will be pals, as well as little Kerry. But Gary's a wonderful guy. He's one of the people who, as anyone in the room knows, and all those other guys who are around, who are the girls' boyfriends and stuff, you know, when you talk to Gary, there's not many people you talk to, but you've their undivided attention, no matter what's going on in Gary's life or day, or no matter what grief Amy might be giving him. It doesn't matter what you're talking about, you've got his undivided attention, and he's wholeheartedly interested, and he's such a great guy. And I'm really proud that you're here as my best man. Sorry to land it on you. It's €40 on me crying. To Tina and the venue here, thank you very much for everything. It was fabulous. And Darren, DJ, thank you very much. It was fabulous. And the barman is fabulous. I know he's an early morning, but he said he's here all night. To Father Tom for marrying us today. Yeah, he said, do you want to come down? We asked Father Tom, would you like to come down to the venue? And he's like, no, I'll come over for dinner next week and a glass of wine. I'll leave that with you, Sarah. No, he's brilliant. We have the rose. I felt like there was a bit of Greta Thunberg in him. There's a paper rose. Not plastic, Pauline. To Aidan, Pauline, Ro and Donna, my new relations. I feel sorry for Aidan. Obviously he had a bit of go up to Pauline. I would never do that. But all the girls, myself and Harry are very happy to boost the numbers and support you in there. You know, it's tough. But you're so kind to me. You welcomed me in from the first day. I can understand more now, Aidan, why you obviously wanted sport, that was it. But look, you would have taken anybody. But no, thank you so much. You've welcomed me so much. And there's so many exciting times coming with Ro, Michael in the new house. Woo! And all that kind of stuff, and it's brilliant. And Donna, and I'm so happy to be a part of your family now. And the Sheehans. Woo! Auntie Bernie especially. Auntie Bernie. Yeah, it was brilliant, except for Ro. You did ruin our first Valentine's. That's the only thing, you know. Because you're a great housemate. You should obviously, I feel you should be so proud of all your daughters, but Sarah in particular. And I promise you I'll always look after her, and I'll always mind her, and Harry. And I hope she minds me. To mum and dad, to dad, brilliant. Yeah, what an act earlier, huh? Yeah, no, very good. What an act. 10 out of 10. Everybody's going, your dad, yeah, and he winked at me. It's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah. I learned everything from dad. You know, all my charms to get you. Dad, very early on, dad taught me, you know, all women are beautiful. Some are just more beautiful than others. That's the way it is. But obviously, most people's dads, you know, you always hear it, oh, your dad's your hero and that, but obviously dad's brilliant at pretty much everything. So I kind of try, but dad obviously was in the fire brigade for 30 years and he built up a brilliant reputation, which I've continued, I've flourished. Oh, that's not a joke. There's no applause needed there, there's no sign for that. In fact, my boss, Jim, over there, actually wanted to say a few words at some stage. Do you still want to? No, every bit of it. No, but I was quickly told your dad built that reputation for 30 years and you threw it away in a few weeks. To mum, I know I might have been a bit of a hard child. I couldn't sit easy. I talked a lot. You only really have yourself to blame, to be fair. But you've always been so good, mum and dad. I've never, ever wanted from anything, and you've been so good to me, so thank you so much. And thank you for welcoming Sarah into our family. And I know she's hard work, but at least we're splitting it now a little bit. To my little sister Avril, sandwiched in between two Northsiders there. She's great. Avril's brilliant. She's everything you'd want in a little sister. She's mad. But she's brilliant. And I love you so much. Zoe, my little cousin, firstly, we just want to say thank you very much. Zoe played a big hand in all the menus and all the little things, because basically I wasn't really doing much. And Zoe printed all the stuff, got it all organised, and she was brilliant. And we have a little gift I want to give to you, Zoe. Come on up here now. Because Zoe, come on up, Zoe. Take it. How about that? Because I brought Zoe to the church when she got married a few months ago, and I took a photograph in the car of herself and her husband, and I gave her a little picture. And I don't think you'll cry, Zoe. The lads are loads in it. Get on there, Gary. You're not 47 minutes. Obviously we have a little baby, Harry. Who means the world to us. And we're so proud of him. And it makes everything more special today. And he's a really good mix of us both. He's more like Sarah, I think, to be honest, in a lot of ways. He hates the mornings. He gets food all over his face. He gives out a lot. And he hates me taking his clothes off at night. But he's the most precious thing in the world to us today, and Marge's daughter Fiona's looking after him, and it means Fiona, and it means the world to us because he's our most precious thing. So I know she's not here, but I'm sure Marge can thank her on our behalf. There's a few people who couldn't make it today. Obviously, we spoke about Graham, a few close friends of mine, and Stephen. But obviously, a very important one would be my sister Jane, who's having a little baby. Can I go up here, Dad, and finish that? Jane is my big sister. She looked after me. She's the most patient person in the world. And I'm sure she's really upset not being able to make it today. She's one of the most kind people, a wonderful mum, and I hope that she has her baby in the next day or two and put my mum at ease. But I miss her terribly today. Another person who couldn't make it today would be Sarah's granddad. But I don't think he would have come anyway, to be honest with you. If it was a funeral, he'd have made every effort. The Sheehan's do funerals, but weddings, no. But I hope he's well. And apparently, according to Pauline, Harry is the image of him. But when he cries, Harry looks like me. It's brilliant. There are a few very important people who aren't here today, and it's just important to recognise them. My godfather, Tony, his son, Andrew, my uncle, Tom, our grandparents, and Gary's mum. And also, it's an anniversary for Jim's mum today, so I just want to recognise that. Now, we'd like to, obviously, our two mums look gorgeous. Beautiful. Some are just more beautiful than others, but you're both. So, if I could just... Myself and Sarah would like to give you a bouquet of flowers. If that's... Can you stand up? That doesn't count. Doesn't count. Yeah, I know. Set three of us up. There's also a little gift for everyone on the tree over there. If you're under 60, I'm sorry. If you're under 60, there's a gift for you there. I'm not ageist, but that's just the way it is, okay? So if you find yourself under 60, there's a little gift on the tree for you that you can hang in your own tree. Okay. Finally. Most importantly, my darling Sarah. Look at her. She's absolutely dying for this. She's waiting. You're my best friend. You did so much work for today. Not an ounce of stress. Your dress is wonderful. I'm sure the other one was beautiful too. We've shared so many experiences together. We've had a couple of homes where you lodged with me, and then we've a couple of homes over the last few years, and we've made Holywell our home, and we're so happy, and we've with Harry and with Bailey, and it's so wonderful. Sarah's a wonderful mum, and you won all the auditions, by the way. I had a lot of auditions for this role. But you did really well. Sarah's the most beautiful person you'll ever meet. But what Sarah and Amy do for work is so difficult. So it's actually inside that she's so beautiful. I love you so much, and I look forward to spending the rest of my life with you. To Sarah.
There's one final telegram just to read out. Dear Sarah and Joe, so sorry we couldn't join you on your very special wedding day. The hardest part of living away from Ireland is missing these happy occasions. We wish you much love, laughter and happiness in your life and journey together. With love from Seamus, Ciara, Roisin, Robert and Olivia. Now, I've been looking forward to this all day. All day. So, obviously, good evening to everybody. Welcome you all here. I appreciate that. Thanks. I think we can all agree what a great day it's been. The venue, the staff, the church, the bride, they've all done really, really well so far. So, obviously, I'm Gary. I have the pleasure of being Joe's best man. I think, so Joe had originally asked his best looking friend to be his best man, and I think he said no. And then he asked his smartest friend, and he said no. And then he asked me, and I couldn't say no for a third time, so I'm here now. So, it's obviously great that everyone's enjoying the wedding. And I have to say, being best man, you get to see a lot behind the scenes. Hissy fits, throwing mascara, the makeup's wrong, the hair's wrong. But I heard Sarah's really good this morning, so well done. Ooh, okay. I'd like to start then by thanking both the bride and groom for inviting us to Slane to share their special day with them. I think we can all agree how stunning Sarah looks. And there's Joe beside her. That's it. So I read in the paper last week that the same guy who coined the phrase FOMO, which is a fear of missing out, which I think we can really attest to Joe. So he's now come up with a new societal term, and that's FOBO, or the fear of a better option. So ultimately, it leaves a person, being quite undecisive. And as obviously, as you know, Joe is. As a child, he was constantly need to be kept busy. While in the middle of one thing, he was always asking, Dad, what's next? What's next? So what I'm trying to say, Joe was obviously highly indecisive. But we know he made one good decision today. Ask me to be best man. So to Aidan and Pauline, you've raised an amazing girl in Sarah. She's kind, caring, and a beautiful person. How she got stuck with Joe is anyone's guess. I do know that he holds his new in-laws in a very high regard, and he's really looking forward to taking on the Bradford name. Joey Bradford. So, Brian and Mary, you've given us Joe.
Sorry.
So for all the characteristics you did bestow upon him, why couldn't one of them been singing more than 2 lines in a song? But I've had the pleasure of knowing the Brennans for a very, very long time, and they're honestly some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Joe couldn't have a nicer support team behind him, and they've always been so welcoming of everybody to their home, and I know it's the exact same for Sarah. A special mention to Jane and Avril, Joe's sisters, who have always helped put manners on. And then a double special mention, obviously, as we know, Jane couldn't be here expecting her second baby in Belgium. So, hi, Jane. To Sarah's entourage, the bridesmaids, you do look beautiful today. Was never in any doubt, but you've really come through. Yeah. That's it, actually. That's it. I'm not going to go for it. I'd also like to thank the rest of the groomsmen who have literally been no help at all. And you look fine, I guess.
No problem.
So, as most of you will know, Sarah works in Laura Lynn. It's the only children's hospice in the country. Being a nurse or any member of staff there is an incredibly difficult undertaking. And it really does show Sarah's level of care and compassion towards other people. She's a great mom to Harry, and anyone who's been in their company can really see how much Harry loves his mom. Speaking of Harry, he did mention that he really hopes his mum and dad have a great day. And he's really looking forward to being an older brother. So, Joe kind of alluded to it in his speech, but for those people that don't know the story of how Joe and Sarah met, I'm basically Cilla Black in this scenario. I met Sarah through my own wife, Amy. And it was very apparent she was looking for love. Quickly flicking through my black book of friends, and I couldn't find anyone suitable. Knowing that perseverance would really be needed here, a young and fresh-faced Joe Brennan came to mind. So I quickly created a WhatsApp group. I made a very, very brief introduction, and then I made my exit. Little did I know, Sarah made her exit too. Undeterred, Joe persevered on. A few messages and a lot of convincing later on. And well, the rest, as I say, is history. So sports and music. Two passions of Joe's. It's a pity he only got talent for one. Representing his country, I think it's over 80 times, Aidan, but we'll give it 70. He's been an established hockey player from a young age. It was his early 20s when his major breakthrough onto the Irish hockey men's team came about. Coincidentally, Joe's pretty boy years are around the same time, although we're not sure they've ended. Anyone who was to frequent Club 92 were sure to spot Nicky Byrne pouting in the corner. We're not quite sure who originally coined this phrase, but Joe made sure everyone else knew about it. To be fair to him, he did have the pretty boy looks, the charisma, the charm, the hairband, not the voice, no. Can't have it all, Joe, you can't have it all. Joe has spent most of his hockey career playing in Glenanne. He led the men's section to All-Ireland success in 2018. Prior to that, he had a stint with Dragons in Belgium. He's played for Three Rock Rovers here in Dublin and is currently head coach in another hockey club. So, I mean, loyalty is a word thrown around all too often in my book, and it has no place in today's speech. Joe, well, as he says, is a well-respected and liked fireman based in Donnybrook.
Yeah, better believe it.
So good at firemanning, he actually did their training twice. Many years spent as a novice in the station, and he finally became a fully fledged member of the team. You know, saving people from burning buildings, pulling the cats out of the trees, all things the other heroes at the station do even. Joe, well, he poses for the calendar and he cooks the lads dinner at the odd time, so. We knew Joe and Sarah were destined to be together from a very, very early stage. It became really apparent, in fact, while we were at a wedding, probably 6 years ago. You know, typical horseplay at a wedding. Horseplay. You know, there was teams of grown men. We were, you know, running over chairs, just stupid tricks. Everyone would kind of complete it. Joe had a go at it, obviously missed the chair, fell on the shoulder. And honestly, the tears and the wailing was like he had lost a limb. But through all the crying, there was only one person he wanted to call. This is after only 2 dates, and she was already his next of kin. She'd really made an impression, and he's been yearning to have her by his side ever since. While there are so many stories to give us a laugh at Joe's expense, there are a lot more that show the true guy that he is. What I can say he's always looking out for others. He's always trying to bring people into groups, make them feel welcome, make sure everyone's kind of happy. I was thinking about this for a while. We're gone. Is that the sheep hook? Is that better? This is my best joke. Fuck.
Page 3. You have to shout at
Well, just shout. Can you hear me?
Big and heckily
Easier. So, I think the simplest way to describe Joe is, and I was thinking about this for a while, if you're ever in trouble and you're thinking about who you should call, you just call Joe. He'll drop whatever he's doing and he'll just come help you, and that's the guy he is. He'll always be willing to be by your side, to support you with whatever you're doing, so yeah, he's a good guy. Okay. So you'll be glad to hear that. That's all from me. I'd like to take this opportunity, if everyone would join me, being upstanding, to raise your glass in a toast to the Bradfords, the Brennans, the Brennans. Oh, jeez. Knock me off the kilter. You should have told me it was all right.
Are we here? Okay. Shh. Bit of hush. Hush, 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 hush. Come on. Shh. When you're down in trouble and you need some love and care, and nothing, no nothing is going right. Close your eyes and think of me. Soon I will be there and brighten up even your darkest night. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, fall, all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there, yes I'll be there. You got a friend. If the sky high above you should turn dark and full of cloud, and that old cold north wind should begin to blow, keep your poor head together now and call my name out loud now. Soon I'll be knocking on your door. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I come running as fast as I can to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there, yes I'll be there. Well, say, ain't it good to know that you got a friend? People can be so cold. Well, they hurt you, yes, and desert you. They'll take your soul if you let them on the ground. Don't you let them. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I come running, yes I will, to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, and fall, all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there, yes I'll be there. You got a friend. Oh, you got a friend. Ain't it good to know you got a friend? You just call on me when you're down, and I'll come running. very much.